Virginia. Today we mark the 226th birthday of the United States of America. Last year, I spent my first Independence Day as your president in Philadelphia. This year, I get to spend it in Ripley, West Virginia. Shelley told me about the 4th of July celebration. She said I needed to come and meet the town. It looks like most of you showed up. I appreciate your hospitality. I appreciate all the hard work that went into making this 4th of July celebration such a fantastic gathering of our fellow Americans. And thanks for having me. I want to thank Shelley Moore Capito for her friendship and her leadership in the halls of Congress. I appreciate so very much one of my cabinet officers, Tony Principi, who's the head of the Department of Veterans Affairs, for not only serving the country and serving in Vietnam, but also agreeing to come today to Ripley to represent the veterans from all across our country. Thank you for being here, Tony. I want to thank your governor, Governor Wise, for joining us today. I appreciate you being here, Bob, and I appreciate Senator Jay Rockefeller coming as well. Thank you both for coming. Thank you. I had the honor of meeting the mayor of Ripley, Mayor Guthrie. Thank you for being here, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate your hospitality, and tell all the folks who work in the city here I'd like to stay around for the cleanup, but I'm sure you would let me, but I also appreciate Mayor Ritchie of Ravenswood for coming over to say hello as well. Thank you, Mayor. I know the Attorney General of West Virginia is here, General McGraw. I appreciate the Secretary of State for West Virginia for being here. I want to thank all the members of the legislature, but most of all, I want to thank my fellow citizens. Today I had the honor and privilege of saying hello to two West Virginia citizens who are family members of some of West Virginia's finest. Earlier this year, U.S. Special Forces Sergeant Gene Vance, Jr. and Anissa Ann Shiro lost their lives in defense of our freedom. And I had the privilege of kissing Gene's wife to express our sympathies and our love and our prayer. And I had the privilege of doing the same with Anissa's dad. And I would like you all to join me in welcoming him to this celebration today. Thanks for coming. The anniversary of America's independence is a day for gratitude and a day for celebration. On the 4th of July, we count our blessings, and there are so many to count. We're thankful for the families we love. We're thankful for the opportunities in America. We're thankful for our freedom. The freedom declared by our founding fathers, defended by many generations, and granted to each one of us by Almighty God. Americans know that our country did not come about by chance. Our nation was first designed as a colony, serving an empire and answering to a king. The founders had other things in mind. In the summer of 1776, they declared that these colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states. With the great army massed against the Americans, these were not idle words. Stepping forward to sign the Declaration, said that Dr. Benjamin Rush was like signing your own death warrant. Yet he and 55 others put their name on the document, pledging to the cause their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. And all Americans can draw a straight line from the free lives we lead today to that one moment when the world changed forever. From that day in 1776, freedom has had a home, and freedom has had a defender. Unlike any other country, America came into the world with a message for mankind, that all are created equal and all are meant to be free. There is no American race. There's only an American creed. We believe in the dignity and rights of every person. We believe in equal justice, limited government, and in the rule of law. We believe in personal responsibility and tolerance toward others. This creed of freedom and equality has lifted the lives of millions of Americans, of citizens by birth and citizens by choice. This creed draws our friends to us. It sets our enemies against us and always inspires the best that is within us. In this 226th year of our independence, we have seen that American patriotism is still a living faith. We love our country only more when she's threatened. An Air Force pilot spoke for everyone when he was asked if anyone on his base had a personal connection to the victims of September the 11th. He said, "I think we all do. They were all Americans." Watching the events of that day, no American felt this was an attack on others. It was an attack on all of us, on each and every one of us. Every ethnic background is known and respected here in America. Every religious belief is practiced and protected here. Yet in a moment we discovered again that we're a single people. We share the same allegiance. We live under the same flag. When you strike one America, when you strike one American, you strike us all. In the moments after September the 11th, Americans turned instinctively to the flag we share. The flag was lowered to half-staff in days of mourning, raised in respect over Ground Zero. hung in defiance from the wall of the Pentagon, carried with special pride at the Olympic Games, carefully folded at military gravesides, and given to families. The American people, when we pledge our allegiance to the flag, feel renewed respect and love for all it represents. And no authority of government can ever prevent an American from pledging allegiance to this one nation under God. More than ever in the lifetimes of most Americans, the flag stands for a truly unified country. We've been united in our grief, and we are united in our resolve to protect our people and to defeat the enemies of the United States of America.
You're listening to President Bush delivering an Independence Day address in Ripley, West Virginia, coming to you on VOA News
60
Now.
years ago, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, General George C. Marshall declared that before the sun sets on this terrible struggle, our flag will be recognized throughout the world as a symbol of freedom on the one hand and of overwhelming power on the other. This is our purpose again today. Once again, history has called America to use our overwhelming power in the defense of freedom, and we'll do just that. In Afghanistan, we defeated the Taliban regime, but that was just the first step. The liberation of that country was the beginning of the long and unrelenting struggle we have entered. America is a patient and determined country. We're working with our allies. We'll use every tool of diplomacy and law enforcement. We're organizing to protect the homeland against further attack. And we will take the battle to the enemy wherever he hides, and wherever he plans, and wherever he dwells. The greatest asset we have in this conflict is the military of the United States of America. At this hour, more than 60,000 American troops are deployed around the world in the war against terror. Many of you here today have family members serving in the military. Wherever they are stationed, this nation is depending on them. And you need to be proud of them. Thousands of our men and women in uniform were born in other countries and now spend each day in honorable service to their adopted land. Many of them are still waiting for the chance to become American citizens because of the waiting period for citizenship. These men and women love our country. They show it in their daily devotion to duty. Out of respect for their brave service in this time of war, I have signed an executive order allowing them an immediate opportunity to petition for citizenship in the United States of America. America has always depended on the courage and character of our people in the military. We're honored today by the presence of some of West Virginia's most distinguished citizens, veterans of American Armed Forces. These men and women served in different places at different times, but all were ready when their country needed them, ready to sacrifice, to fight, and if necessary, to die for the sake of others. That's the highest form of citizenship. Whether the veterans here served in peacetime or in the worst battles, you have the nation's gratitude and the respect of your fellow Americans. On this 4th of July, it is my privilege to thank you for your service to your country. Veterans know better than anyone that love for country is shown in works. That spirit of service is alive and strong in America today. Our response to tragedy and sudden national challenges has revealed the courage, and it has revealed the kindness of the American people. As we fight a war abroad, here at home, Americans are answering the call of service, giving their time and energy to causes greater than self-interest. This nation is confronting a terrible evil, and we are overcoming evil with good. There is much in modern America that the founding generation might not understand. Yet they would recognize the stars and stripes, and they would know qualities of character that still define our country. They would take great pride, as I do, in the decent, responsible, caring citizens who are the true strength of our country. I'm certain as well that if they could survey this country of ours, they would join us all in giving thanks for all that we have. A year after independence was declared, the Second Continental Congress set the design of our nation's flag. The stars on blue were to represent a new constellation, the different world our young nation had begun to create. Today, as much as ever before, America bears the hope of the world. Yet from the day of our founding, America's own great hope has never been in ourselves alone. The founders humbly sought the wisdom and the blessing of divine providence. May we always live by that same trust, and may God continue to watch over the United States of America. God bless.
President Bush delivering an Independence Day address in Ripley, West Virginia, brought to you live here on VOA News Now. As President Bush mentioned, spent a good deal of his address talking about the war on terrorism, paying tribute to those who are fighting in it today. There is an enormous amount of security heightened all across the country. Certainly here in Washington it is, where there are always, every year, big Independence Day celebrations. Earlier this morning, Washington time, Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Wolfowitz was on the National Mall here in Washington. That's that large swath of land flanked by national museums and federal office buildings with the U.S. Capitol and the Lincoln Memorial at each end. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to gather on the mall today, as they have for July 4ths of the past, to celebrate, listen to concerts, and watch a spectacular fireworks display once the sun goes down later. Mr. Wolfowitz told NBC's Matt Lauer Americans, and actually he was echoing President Bush, that Americans should both be on alert and celebrate.
This is the first 4th of July during this war, and it's worth remembering when Abraham Lincoln was president 140 years ago. On that first 4th of July of the Civil War, he called a special session of Congress to celebrate that holiday, which marks what this country stands for, what we're all about, what the terrorists are trying to take away from us, which is government of the people, by the people, for the people. And this is more than just a big party. This is a day really to mark what this country stands for.
Obviously symbolic. It represents our freedom, and because of that, officials have said that terrorists might choose this as an attractive date or attractive target, and because of that, we've got heightened security, as you mentioned. But wouldn't it seem more likely that a terrorist attack would come when our guard is down, as it seemed to be down on September 11th?
We absolutely have to be alert all the time. We know they're out there plotting. We know they're trying to kill Americans, and this isn't the only day they'll try. What we can't do is let them drive us away from our way of life. This is really a way to come out here and celebrate this great holiday, I think, is a way to send a message to them that we're winning, they can't win.
U.S. Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Wolfowitz speaking on the National Mall earlier today, reminding Americans that they should celebrate, but that the celebrations should not be overshadowed by the war on terrorism. That brings us to 14:23 Universal Time. You're listening to VOA News Now.
Turn to a human resources consultant for answers.
Sharon Armstrong runs a company that helps people find jobs. She says the first step is to draft a short resume, no more than 2 pages.
It should be customized to the company or position you're going for. By that I mean it should use the lingo of the industry. It should be clear and targeted, easy to read on good bond paper, and it should be perfect. There should be no spelling and no grammar mistakes. So you should use spell check and then have 2 or 3 friends at a minimum review it before you send it out. You say customize. How do you know that language, the language of the company? If it isn't your industry, you talk to people, you do informational interviews, you read their reports, you get your hands on everything that you can that will give you any type of information that will lead you to a good cover letter and resume. How do you structure a resume? What sections are necessary in a resume? I think the first thing that I'm seeing in a lot of good resumes, the very first area that you would have is called a qualification summary, where you identify 3 or 4 important skills that you have that will be appealing to the new employer.
Give us an example.
I actually wrote one. Let's say someone is going for a project manager job. The summary up at the very top of the resume would read, project manager skilled at coordinating complex information management projects, proven ability to develop and maintain client relationships, proficient at negotiating vendor contracts, particularly adept at analyzing information for patterns and trends, and summarizing complex issues concisely. Can-do attitude. So in the first couple seconds, an employer is going to read the top of that, and then they're going to know whether they should continue to read. So you want to grab them right away with something strong. What other section should follow? Right after the qualification summary, I would do work experience. Unless you just recently completed a degree, in which case you want to probably highlight your education. But I would do the experience, then the education, then skills, either computer skills or interpersonal skills, and then a tagline at the bottom about references, just to kind of close it and end it.
Should you include references, or do you just put the standard references upon request?
I would put the standard, quite honestly, because again, this is the resume first going out. You don't know even if there's interest.
Let's talk a little bit about a cover letter.
Should be no more than 1 page. It should be addressed to a specific person. It shouldn't be a to whom it may concern. So you should have a title for the person and the correct spelling of their name. People are very sensitive about that. And the company name correctly spelled as well. In the cover letter, you should come right to the point. Identify the position that you're interested in, how you heard about it.
What are some things to avoid?
Ones that go on and on, 2 or 3 pages. Avoid that. Ones that reiterate what's in the resume.
Do you begin with greetings, or what works? Or
I
what
think you go
catches
right to the point. Dear Mr. Smith, I recently heard of your opening, and then you go on. In fact, I did bring a cover one, a sample one for you. I'm applying for the web developer position that was advertised in local paper this week. The position seems to fit very well with my education experience and career interests. Your position requires skills in various types of programming and software used in web development. My academic program in computer studies emphasized, then you go on to indicate exactly what is targeted, not only in your academic program, but in your work experience. My enclosed resume provides more details on my qualifications. My background and career goals seem to match your job requirements well. I'm confident that I can perform the job effectively. And then a little assertiveness at the end, telling me they're going to give me a call, asking me specifically for an interview, telling me in clear terms how to reach them and when to reach them, either by email or by phone, and good times to reach them. And I would also customize it by doing some research about the company, so that each letter cannot be just a cookie-cutter approach. It has to be a specific letter to that specific company. People rarely do that, and it makes such a big difference.
And the language to use, plain, simple English?
That's a good point, Avi, because people will write it in a very stilted way that they would never talk. It's so odd, attached, please find my, you say, enclosed is my resume, or just something that is a normal way that you would talk.
Sharon Armstrong is a consultant in Washington. She calls her business Human Resources 911. 911 is the telephone number Americans call in an emergency. Next week, Ms. Armstrong will walk us through a job interview.
You'll find today's program, plus our archives, on the web at voanews.com/wordmaster. And our email address is word@voanews.com. With Roseanne Skirble, I'm Avi Arditi.
I spoke to James Moon, who describes himself as an ethical hacker, and asked him first to explain exactly what he does.
I'm actually a pen tester, so I would be classified as an ethical hacker or a white hat hacker. I effectively break into network systems, I hack into them, and then I tell the bank or whoever it is how I broke into the system so that they can fix those holes and make the network secure. So before a real hacker breaks it and takes money off them, and they actually hire me to do that.
So you've got the skills, but you use them as a force for good, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right, and this conference that's been going on, the idea which has come out of it, just explain to us what it is. What is hacktivism?
It's activism, but using hacking. So quite often hacktivism has political motivations. So you often get military sites being hacked by people that, trying to promote peace or whatever.
And some of the ideas they claim they've come up with this weekend, this idea of having a closed-off part of the internet, or making it easier for people to set up closed-up parts of the internet to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
In concept, it's quite a nice idea. But it is a bit dangerous if a group of hackers get together to allow people to use a more secure version of the internet within the internet, often called a VPN, a virtual private network. For a start, it's illegal in some countries.
What about people who don't want to use these things for innocent motives?
And there is that side to it as well, yeah, of course. So organised crime would be the obvious one.
Terrorism
or terrorism, yeah. That does happen a lot, certainly with encryption-type tools. People that have actually invented these kind of tools, there have been guys that have been on the America's Most Wanted list.
So overall, is this idea of hacktivism one which you think is a force for the positive or for the negative?
A lot of the times it's touted by hackers when they just want to mess around, and they call it hacktivism. But there are a lot of governments around the world that suppress what people say and suppress what you can do on the internet, and the internet is a force for freedom of information. It's very hard to control. So when mechanisms are put in place to control it, it's good that there at least is a group of people that are trying to come up with technologies to combat that control.
James Moon, an ethical hacker.
All the Jameses are here. Today it's 20. 首先找的是客气的称呼形式，它是 Sie 您，请您把 Sie 这个词的第一个字母圈出来。
Sie.
Was machen Sie?
然后找的是 Andreas 靠他赚钱的职业，他是门房 Portier， 请您把这个字的第二个字母圈出来。
Portier.
Ich glaube, Sie sind der Portier.
找的第三个词是疑问代词 was 什么，请您把 was 这个词的第一个字母圈出来。
Was?
Was denn? Student oder Portier?
找的第四个词